Tonight, after years of abuse and control over several young girls, a federal judge sentenced the man behind it all, the self-proclaimed polygamous prophet Samuel Bateman, to 50 years in prison. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Bateman admitted to sexually abusing those girls who he took as child brides for himself. Some of them spoke out in court today before sentencing in downtown Phoenix.
12 News journalist Chase Golightly was there, and Chase, there was incredibly powerful testimony there today.
Kariba, Mark, three former spiritual wives of Bateman, the youngest just 9 years old when she says the sexual abuse began, all face their tormentor and captor, telling Bateman to his face that he no longer has power over them. Samuel Bateman was told he will likely spend the rest of his life in prison. The judge sentencing Bateman, the self-proclaimed prophet of the polygamous FLDS church, to 50 years behind bars for sex crimes against children, telling Bateman he should never have the opportunity to be free and that he is the worst kind of abuser.
His crimes were so heinous and so willful.
Tanya and Matt Browning have been following the Bateman case, learning Bateman rose to power around 2019, claiming he had the blessing of former prophet and convicted child abuser Warren Jeffs. Bateman gaining about 50 followers and more than 20 wives, with half of them under 15 years old, with two of them just 9 years old. Bateman used his power to force these young girls into having group sex acts with him and his followers, committing these crimes in multiple states. On Monday, inside the Sandra Day O'Connor federal courthouse, three of those girls faced the man who had so much control over their lives, including a girl who said she was 9 years old when the abuse by Bateman started, stating her innocence was taken from her. Another survivor stating she was just 14 years old when Bateman called on her to be his spiritual wife, with the sexual abuse starting just weeks later. They all called his actions pure evil and told the judge Bateman deserves no compassion.
To stand up in a court like that's pretty impactful and incredible.
So I saw what they had to go through to get to this point.
Pam, who didn't want to use her last name, was a juror for a recent trial involving two of Bateman's top followers, finding them both guilty. Having heard in detail of the crimes involving Bateman, she wanted to see what his fate would be.
He got what he deserved.
But not everyone sees it that way, believing there's no just punishment in a case like this.
50 years is not enough for two 9-year-old victims, and that's just a small part. 9 years old, we have to protect our children.
Bateman and several of his co-conspirators, including some of his adult wives, have now been found guilty and will spend decades in a prison cell. But given the history of the FLDS, some believe it's only a matter of time before another opportunist comes forward, claiming to be the prophet.
Sam's gone, Warren's gone. Who's going to pick up the ball now and run with it? And I think it's a message to be sent that if you're going to traffic in little girls, then this is what's going to happen to you. We're not going to put up with it.
Yeah, Chase, it's really hard to imagine how hard it had to be for those young girls to step forward and to address Bateman, who had done so many horrible crimes to them. You really have to commend them, right, for being able to step forward and, hopefully they'll be able to get past this.
Kariba, you're right. It was incredibly powerful to hear them speak and to face their abuser and call for the maximum sentence against them. Because you have to remember, these girls have been through so much. Their own parents, followers of Bateman, gave them, their own mom and dad gave them up to Bateman to be his child brides. The judge said those same parents would actually show up in court to support Bateman and not their own children. But when each one spoke today, they all said they are working on themselves to get help to lead a normal life. One of them mentioned she has foster parents now that actually care for her as a parent should. She's also going to high school, has her own driver's license, and can wear clothes she likes instead of those prairie dresses we see so many women in the religion wearing. They all said the same thing, that Bateman no longer has power over them and never will again. Kariba.
Yeah, well, it's good to see that they are moving forward the best way they can. All right, Chase, thank you.